All right, dear 1000 PS TV viewers, things are really kicking off at KTM. I don't really want to go into the insolvency proceedings in detail, but as I would expect from KTM, the motorcycle manufacturer from Mattighofen is charging ahead. More and more new models for 2025 are being unveiled, including, and this is what I'm going to tell you about now, a brand new model range. It was the KTM 390 Adventure, and this model is now splitting into two versions. The 390 Adventure is becoming the 390 Adventure X, where I initially thought the X might stand for something like Extreme or Cross. But no, the standard model gets an X added to the name, and then there's a brand new version, the KTM 390 Adventure R, and that one I'd say is actually the highlight of this model range. Now, when it comes to the engine, I don't think I need to say much. We already know it from, for example, the Duke. 390 now with 399 cc instead of the previous 373, still putting out just under 44 horsepower and 39 Newton meters, which is 2 more than its predecessor. So the little single-cylinder 4-stroke engine remains, I'd say, a lively and sprightly one. But on the 390 Adventure R, the suspension is what really steals the show. And I think many of you out there have been waiting for this. A mid-weight adventure bike that isn't overly extreme but can still be properly used off-road. And this 390 Adventure R comes with a WP Apex 43mm open cartridge fork. So the front fork is this Apex fork, while at the rear there's a WP Apex split piston monoshock. And these suspension components have 230mm of travel, which I think is already quite impressive, definitely up for some proper off-road riding. The front is adjustable for compression and rebound, while the rear can be adjusted for rebound and preload. So I'd say this is genuinely high quality hardware, and it gets even more off-road capable because the R version comes with a 21-inch front wheel, 90-90-21, and a 140-80-18 at the rear. Naturally, that also means the seat height increases significantly, at least 870 millimeters. Now, in comparison, I'd say the standard 390 Adventure previously and now the 390 Adventure X is definitely more accessible because the X now has an 825mm seat height. It retains a 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear wheel with cast rims, while the R version gets spoked wheels. But I think this differentiation is great. Both bikes have the same engine, but the R is really off-road capable while the X remains what it was before. Though I'd say with the slightly higher torque, it's probably an even better touring machine now. Both bikes come with brakes, and in this regard, they're the same. A Bibra single disc up front with a 320mm diameter. So I don't think anyone will be complaining about a lack of bite, especially off-road on the R version. But of course, we'll have to see how well it's tuned. Now, something a lot of people criticize, which honestly I'd rather stay out of, is weight. If you're looking for something really, really light, well, then the 390 Adventure R is simply the wrong bike. 165 kilos dry, and depending on how you look at it, KTM's numbers are a little inconsistent here. The tank is supposedly 14 liters or 14.5 liters. That extra half a liter doesn't make a huge difference. So I'd say fully fueled, we're looking at just under or even over 180 kilos ready to ride. That's not exactly light, but I'd say quality components, well, they weigh something. The suspension, the sturdy frame, all of it adds up. And then the fairing for this class, I'd say it's quite voluminous, but honestly, I think it looks great, especially now with that headlight in the typical KTM style, those LED daytime running lights and the full LED headlight. It looks really cool. In fact, I almost think it looks better than, let's say, the very bulky 1390, but hey, tastes differ. In terms of design, the R version comes in a lot of white with orange accents, and the frame in KTM orange. That's always a signature look for the R models, making sure the orange color really pops. The X version, on the other hand, is pretty much entirely orange, but honestly, I think both versions look great. Initially, I thought the R version would definitely be the better looking one, and the X version wouldn't look as good, but honestly, I think they both look really nice. But as always, looks are subjective. Then, electronics, a lot going on here, especially on the R version. We've got a full-color TFT display, lean angle sensitive assistance systems, cornering ABS, traction control, of course an off-road mode, and the off-road ABS stays deactivated even after switching the bike off. And that's where there's a big difference compared to the X version, which, according to the press release, doesn't have lean-sensitive electronics, so no cornering ABS, no cornering traction control, and instead of a TFT display, it gets an LC display. Though, to be honest, in pictures and videos, it looks just like the TFT display on the R version, but KTM says it's LC, so we'll take their word for it. Now, these differences between the R and X versions are also reflected in the price. The R version is priced at 8,999 euros. KTM states 8,999 euros plus 300 euros in additional costs, so that puts us at just under 9,300 euros. Not cheap, but considering what the bike offers, maybe not unreasonable either. On the other hand, the X version is significantly cheaper, 6,500 euros plus 300 euros in additional costs, so we're looking at 6,800 euros. And yeah, that's a 1,600 euro difference, which is quite a lot. If you mainly ride on the road, I'd say, well, with a 19-inch front wheel, the X version can still handle off-road. The seated and standing position is also good, so you can take it off-road if you want to. And if the X version is enough for you, you save a lot of money. But for those who want the best, with 230 millimeters of suspension, travel front and rear, almost fully adjustable suspension, a lot more electronics, yeah, you pay for that. But in return, you get what I think is a really solid adventure bike in the 400 class. All right, that's about it for the two new KTM 390 adventure models. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Please subscribe to our 1000 PS YouTube channel so you'll always get notified as soon as our videos go online. Thanks for watching and listening. There's nothing more to say from my side except see you